Give me David? What's a cool? What would be a cool '90s line for two people getting back into the saddle again? You know what I'm saying? Imagine we're two cops. We've been separated for too long, and they're putting us back together, even though the department doesn't want us together because we cause a lot of problems on the streets, but we get the job done. So, what's the line that? What's the one '90s line that would say we're back?
100% pure adrenaline. I don't know, man. That's a tough one.
All right, so there we go. No, too late. That's it. So the camera cuts. We come into a room. The police chief looks at us. He's like, "Ah, oh, god damn it." Camera pans, zooms. We turn to the camera, and you say your line.
100% pure adrenaline.
Let's wreck! Kick right into it. That's the start of the show, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Oh, Jesus, this is episode 24, and we're so sorry. We disappeared on you. I know that all 8 of our fans were desperately worried about us. We've been gone for almost a month now, David. That's too long to be away from you, my dude. Oh, my God, ladies and gentlemen.
Are we sorry? I was kind of enjoying that break there.
I'm desperate and in need of your approval constantly, so I was dying, you know what I'm saying? Also, we're recording this on Father's Day. You're probably the closest thing I have to a dad these days. And the lack of you not talking to me just reminded me of my real life dad, and it was a real fucking nightmare. So thanks for that, bro. Happy Father's Day.
I'm glad we got to open up on some real like pathos and misery.
Oh, you're welcome. Nothing says misery like my name, which is Brian Ortiz, one of your hosts. And with me, as always, is
David Castillo.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. We're glad to be here. We want to just dive right in. But before we start, as I always do, and I haven't had a chance to say this for a month, David, so I can't wait to spout this out as fast as I can because I know you hate it. What is life but nothing more than a series of reactions to educational conversations with one another? And that's the point of the show. We don't know each other and we're trying to know each other. So we use pop culture, social lubrication to find out a little bit more about each other and in the hopes of becoming closer and better friends and also even more intimate and deep lovers, ladies and gentlemen. That's the point of the show. You're watching two men who are straight become slowly entwined with one another. That is the show format that I've adopted, and that's where we're going with today, David. How do you feel about that?
You know, as much as I respect, your persistence here.
Mm-hmm.
I think I finally realized what you're doing, though. It's like, it's kind of like a sitcom that has the same intro every time. It's like, well, it sets the stage.
Correct.
In the same way it sets the stage for Family Matters. I was trying to think of the name of the show with the girl robot, but then I was like, oh my God, that was a terrible show, and I forgot the name. But anyways, you get the point. I would like to think we're somewhere in between,
Yeah. We're in between Family Matters and Girl Robot. That's where the show is.
What was the name of that show, though?
Was it on ABC or CBS?
How the fuck should I know the difference between those goddamn channels?
Because there was only 3 back in our time, David, that were important. 4, sorry, including Fox.
Actually, listen, let's forget about, sitcom bullshit. All right. Let's cut to the meat and potatoes. All right. You asked me a question. How am I doing? You know what? I'm Ice-T, except I thought I escaped Rutger Hauer and his violent team of mercenaries, but I'm back in the wild. I'm back in the most dangerous game. And so I quit. I quit my job because it was a toxic work environment. And so I did the half-baked. Well, I didn't actually do the half-baked. It was kind of more of like if you were to translate the half-baked, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, I'm out.
Still waiting on that heifer, Julio. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. And fuck you, I'm out.
If you translate into that into a very professional setting, that's what you end up with. So the point is, we're back on work watch. So that's how I am. I
don't remember asking how you're doing, but I will ask now. I feel like you had that super loaded. David, how you doing? Cut back to that. Dude, that's I'm so sorry to hear that. Really really fucking sucks. Look what happens, dude. Go away from the podcast for 1 month and you lose your job. You become a homeless bum again. Here we are. We're back on Work Watch.
But listen, we're all familiar with like Work Watch, and clearly like I'm on this end of the work spectrum where like I'm just a dude that like is gonna has the privilege of like quitting his job or getting fired or getting laid off or whatever. But how are you?
You know what? Hey, that's a perfect segue, ladies and gentlemen, to how am I doing? The reason we're having all these deep conversations, ladies and gentlemen, is normally we would bring up a topic of discussion at this point where we would say what the other person wants to talk about for the episode, but we've been gone for too long, and we miss you. I miss you. We miss you people listening to us, all 8 of you, and mostly, David, I missed you because this is also my form of therapy, so I've been out of therapy for a month, so what does that tell you? Spiraling, David. I've been spiraling without your beautiful face. So we're going to come back to a format that we like to do after we don't know what to talk about for so long. This is another episode of I Must Break You, Part 2, Fire Down Below. That's the name of this episode. I Must Break You, Part 2, Fire Down Below.
I don't understand why you couldn't be a Dolph Lundgren reference instead of a Steven Seagal reference.
I wanted to mix both. 2 marriages of two action stars of movies that we love to watch.
I feel like that's also its own topic, by the way, which is like, the 90s is also like the point at which like the action film really just loses its shit and kind of doesn't know what to do, right? It just, you have like Face Off and Con Air, even Under Siege 2, man, like Eric Bogosian plays a great quote unquote eccentric villain, but let's also not forget, man, they're like destroying shit with earthquakes in the sky, right? I mean, that's a thing that happens.
Right. We had the bad guys always had some type of weapon that could do something to nature. You know what I mean? There's always that, or some sort of loose nuclear bomb that got left somewhere all of a sudden. And then you have things like Broken Arrow and stuff like that.
Yeah, man, and also. Shout out to what's the actor that plays Mike in Breaking Bad?
Jonathan Banks.
Jonathan Banks has a great scene in Under Siege 2 where he's just like a henchman, but he's also like the conductor. And right before like 2 trains collide, like for some reason the camera cuts to Jonathan Banks, who's not yet like a big star, and he's absolutely delighted to be involved in this head-on collision. Like he's got this ear-to-ear smile. I mean, you can't see his teeth, but he's clearly like, finally this movie ends. And maybe that's kind of
I feel like we're all
could be a commentary.
That is such a commentary on life. We're just people on trains about to collide thinking finally it's gonna end.
Oh man, Jonathan Banks with the insight.
Dude, God bless that actor for doing what he does best, man. But yeah, you asked me how I'm doing, David. Yeah, a little bit catch up, man. It's been crazy. Life is changing once again, right? Within the course of a month, man, right? Between the last time we talked and this, so much has happened. I think the big thing, and a lot of people are experiencing this in different ways, is I had to do a return to work. For those that don't know, obviously during that time of the pandemic, my job did get to allow me the opportunity to come home and work. And that was great for a lot of reasons, both physically and mentally, and I've been really happy. And then we had to go back, and they're doing a hybrid schedule to help us out with this kind of stuff. But I would be lying, man, if I didn't say that it was taking a mental toll. You know what I mean? Just kind of readjusting to life back in that kind of space. And I know for some people it's great because they love being around other people and talking. Myself, I'm good at being at home and by myself. I don't need to talk. I'm an introvert, baby. I don't need to like go out and experience things all the time. So it's been kind of been a mental struggle going on to be okay with being back in the office and having to have that rigid structure again. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I know that's just me. I know I feel privileged that I get to say that. I know like a lot of people didn't have that opportunity, but that's still weighs on my mind, man.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Listen, like I'm not going to try to do the thing where it's like, oh man, make you feel like sort of guilty. Because you don't have quote unquote perspective, because Schmidt freaking, I couldn't work from home at all, and I got chewed out, so I had to quit, or like not having a job at all, right? Like
sure.
But I will say, man, it is a little hard to have sympathy.
You son of a bitch.
Okay, and one of my questions there is, how did you do it beforehand?
Yeah, before this, dude, I was just dying inside every day a little bit.
Oh my God.
Every day was just a little bit of my soul kept dying and shriveling every day. It looks like a scrotum in cold weather. Exactly. Just shrunken inside, scared to pop its head out. You know what I mean? Like just I survived like everyone else who doesn't do well with that. I just survived. I just either would shut down, go numb, just go through the motions, get it done, get my job done, do it right, and go home and then try and remember who I am. So like there's nothing like perspective to give you something. And while you are ruthless and have no sympathy for me, I will say this, like for some, we get stuck in jobs that we just don't feel great about, but we do the work and we do it well and we do the best that we can. And you have to try and find yourself outside of that. Well, without knowing, the pandemic gave me the opportunity to discover myself and give me an opportunity that I've always dreamed about, which is working from home, controlling my own schedule and moving at my own pace without any interruption and or oversight that was so heavy and daunting. And it was beautiful, man. What can I say? Like, people suffer in different ways, man.
It's people suffer in different ways. It's funny too, because right, this is like the big sort of quote unquote issue of our time, right? The so-called Great Resignation. In fact, you see it out playing in like the way people kind of, right, people are no longer moving into cities, they're trying to move into suburbs because, well, now they have the flexibility of like being able to work remotely.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're
Yeah.
like, well, shit, I don't have to like, pay extra rent and more property tax being close to the city, just to find like a great job. So yeah, man, there's, that's a real thing, a real phenomenon with people just kind of realizing, maybe I can make my own way. Maybe I have actual autonomy over the work that I do. And we don't have to do things the way they've always been done for the sake of doing things the way they've always been done.
Yeah. As someone who struggles with a bunch of mental demons, it was nice to have them controlled for quite a while, and it feels really good. And going back, it's like trying to remember how to die inside a little bit more every day, David. Just a little bit more, baby. Yeah.
Now, listen, I think, so this is actually, we'll cut a lot of this out because I'm going to ask you a real, like a question that can absolutely get you in trouble.
Okay. Scary.
Maybe I should just not ask that. Okay, so let me put myself on blast.
Please, David, use you as an example to answer me a question. That's what I do love.
So, one of the place where I used to work, when we did switch to, it was like COVID hit, switched to like 100% remote. Man, I did find it weird, but like I found it weird because I was also like, well, I'm at home. Why don't I like watch like violent knockouts, UFC knockouts, just for a couple minutes in the middle of a shift? But I did find myself like, damn, man, like, yeah, why can't I just like, take like a 20-minute dump or,
I mean, look, let's be real here. There is no greater reason for working from home than the ability to take 20-minute dumps in the middle of your workday. Nothing says freedom like releasing your sphincter and everything inside of you for 20 uninterrupted minutes. It's beautiful.
Listen, that's not nothing either. I mean, how like, because when you're at work, even with where I, previously just worked now, this is a pretty big office, 3 floors, yada yada. But still, man, going to the bathroom at work is you don't have as much privacy as you think, especially when you're like in an office where it has nothing but like glass windows.
No, dude.
People see you coming in and out, so they know like either hey, you're having like a good gut day or a bad gut day.
Dude, taking a dump at my work is such a goddamn process, my dude, because there's like we used to have the bathroom for us is near like kind of the center apex of the building, where the one half is us, the other half is like communications and then other important people. And it's so embarrassing, man, because it's right there across from the water fountain, the break room, the copy room. And then that bathroom shares an exact wall with an office worker that I know. So I always think to myself, how am I supposed to go in here and drop a rowdy deuce? And I know that those walls are not built to code. I know that they're paper thin. That dude can hear me shit a baby out of my butthole. And then I have to walk out and he like locks eyes with me? I can't do that, man. It's so difficult to drop at my work comfortably. So a lot of us who have like that kind of poop thing, we have to find alternative poop methods. So we know where the quiet, cold, nice smelling bathrooms are around campus, and we'll like drive to other buildings to drop deuces if we have to, quietly.
Man, that's tough, man. When it comes to like crunch time, yeah, a public bathroom is just not the same as like the comfort of your own home.
No, dude. I have to, and you know what too? I pray to God that every bathroom I go to also has like a spray can. So like every time I even toot or drop anything, I just start spraying like crazy to hide it as fast as I can. Because I remember one time I was not feeling well and I was just dropping hard, right? Like full blown giving birth. And I was like, oh my God, I had the vent on. I had a spray can next to me. I had my phone going, so hopefully no one could hear me drop anything. And of course, dude, the person who walks in on me was my boss. And I could hear that poor man coming in, seeing all of this, hearing all of this. I can hear his footsteps. The door opens, silence for about 2-3 seconds, and then he just turns around and goes back outside. And I'm like, fuck.
That's the other tough part, which is that like, even so obviously like, most bathrooms are going to be like communal in an office.
You're right.
So like, even when you think you're alone and like, somebody like walks by to use the urinal right next to your stall. That's also something, man. Like I find myself a little self-conscious, a little self-aware.
Absolutely.
And I'm not going to just like, freaking unload, the sort of Browns into the Super Bowl if like somebody's like right there. To me, it's just like, it's kind of courtesy, right? It's like,
right.
That person probably doesn't want to hear you just like dropping your guts into a toilet bowl.
I understand emergencies happen, right? Like I get it. How many times have you been to a sporting event, a store, you go to the bathroom, as soon as you walk in, some dude is like, ah, oh God, ah, like just so loud, right? Like, and you know that this dude has either a serious problem or has no shame whatsoever. I don't want to be that guy.
Also, you bring up a really important point. I think also sort of bathroom, like especially like crunch time decor is a good sign of the kind of like a good measuring stick of the kind of place you're working at. Like if you have people in there that are just making all kinds of noises, don't care, just gladly like unload
right,
like and unload loudly, then it's probably a place that maybe like the behavior like too much goes unchecked. It could be a little toxic, that kind of thing.
Toxic environments equal toxic shits, folks. That's the takeaway here.
100%. And like I feel like I got that, like when I hear people do that, that's something I just know I could never do. Like I'm like, man, like how it's not your home. What gives you the right?
Right.
What
right.
gives you the
Dude,
rights?
Yeah. Shitting your guts out in a public bathroom is like going into an airplane and clipping your toenails. Who the fuck do you think you are, dude? Who do you think you are? Go home and do that, you sick monster. I'm calling it now. I'm sorry. If you have an emergency, I'll accept it. If you're just a rowdy person, boo. Get out of here. You're nasty. We have, you know what we're dealing with at work? There is a serial pooper. And what I mean by that is there's somebody going into the men's bathroom and dude, they are dropping full logs that won't go down the toilet. And they're not flushing them.
Man, that's like that is an adventure for JB Fletcher. or Columbo. But to be honest, like I think it'd probably be really easy to figure out.
I'm gonna go in Columbo style to every dude's office and be like, sir, can I just see your poop? Let me just, I'm sorry to bother you. I know you're busy right now. I can come back later, but I just need to check your poop, sir. If you could just do a quick deuce for me, okay?
By the way, for anybody that like might be like critical of the subject matter or feel like we're being immature, to that I say, fuck you. And the reason why is because I just quit my job. And Brian here is talking to me on Father's Day because he did not have a father figure in his life. So this is like perfect. This is like therapy, and we're going through some shitty times. We're gonna talk about shit.
Didn't we talk about shitting on the last time we took a break also?
Okay, we definitely talked about shit for quite a while, but I don't know if it was when we were on break.
Why is every time we have a moment to not speak intellectually about something, we immediately go to, yo, let me talk about my shits, bro. That's really the topic that I got to dive into. What is wrong with us, David?
I think it says a lot about kind of like, the sort of, you think about like the effort and thought required into the episodes, how they're outlined, how we put them together, which I think we do. Right. And so when we are free of that, I think, man, you really got to go in the opposite direction.
That's true.
From
David, can I ask you a
highbrow to the lowest.
to highbrow to low brown. Copy that, dude.
Oh my God, dude. That's actually well done. I mean, I'm not laughing, but I think it's really well done.
Rude. How dare you? But thank you. I appreciate it. I'll take the validation. I'll take it. David, let me ask you a question. Do you find that the ultimate like personal at home pooping experience is naked poops? Do you ever take naked poops where you shed all of your clothes, you just sit on the toilet and let God do its business? Do you ever do that?
That's a great question. Like I've done it before, but it definitely like something really primal about that. But it's not something feel like I've been aware of, because I feel like when I've done it, it's been under like special circumstances. Like I was either
Every
sick.
poop is under special circumstances. Jesus Christ, dude. You got to take a normal shit, my dude. You have to take a personal shit that you control on your own time, my dude. Nothing under, you know what I'm saying? Like today, David, I'm going to shed my clothes. I'm going to spread eagle and I'm going to shit comfortably into this toilet.
I think it's interesting that you think the only way to have true freedom during a shit is if all your clothes are off.
And I do. I 100% do. And I'll tell you exactly why, dude. Because it's the pants. Because I can't spread my legs because the pants are constricting me, dude. So I got to take the pants off so my legs can be free to open as wide as they need to give me like strong surface, like mounting position. So I have good base when I have to take a really hard dump. You know what I mean?
This is why like your judgment of me and like whether or not I'm like healthy pooping is completely negated by what you're saying, which is that your poop is so like requires so much effort and like correct posture that you can't even have your pants on. So yeah, I'm pooping just fine. You, my friend, are having the real issues.
You're letting society tell you how to poop, David. You're not proving how God intended. God wanted you to poop naked in the wild, spread open, and you want to be constricted like the man tells you to, David.
So you're talking about splaying your legs. I'm just imagining you giving like ass birth, and that's not a good thing, man. That's not.
That's how our bodies give, dude. That's why they have the little squatty potty, so you can give ass births, dude. Okay, that's why God invented our bodies to poop like that. Look, I'm gonna do us a favor, David. We have been talking almost 10 straight minutes about taking dumps and shits, and there was something
way longer than that.
I know, probably, but there is something I wanted to talk to you about because I thought about you a couple weeks ago because I got all of a sudden, maybe you were channeling something in me, but I got into a kick of watching Submarine movies.
Oh.
So, of course, I did the top two for me right away, which was The Hunt for Red October and Crimson Tide.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Man, I really fucking like Crimson Tide, like, a lot. And in fact, I would argue that this is one of those seminal submarine movies that really defined a look and feel, right? And I know that we've had it before, but it really redefined, like, one of the most memorable things is, like, everyone who's not in the, on the main deck is just sweating fucking bullets the entire time. Everyone is drenched, and everyone's silhouetted by these hard green and red lights and blue lights. Like, it's an insane lighting scheme across the board in that one submarine. But everything feels so tight and constricted, and the tension and the pacing and everything. I don't know, man. I think, and again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and, debate me, but I think Crimson Tide might be one of the most definitive submarine movies ever made in history. Just gonna say it. I know there's a lot of people that are, what about Dust Boot and blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying, Crimson Tide, there's something so special about that movie, dude. And it reminded me of you the entire time. I was channeling you throughout the entire time.
Let me say, so real quick, fuck them all. Anybody telling you that Crimson Tide is not one of the, first off, is not familiar with the proper like submarine catalog and does not know film, because I'll take you to one step further. I'll say Crimson Tide, one of the best films, period.
Ooh, that's right. That's one of your top fives, right? Like one of your big old top fives.
Yeah, and listen, like listen, we can devote like a whole episode of Crimson Tide, but all I want to say is first and foremost, I love the fact, like, let's not lose sight of what happens in this film. Every action film is defined by the dude out, like the loose cannon,
right?
Walks, got it. But this movie is defined by a hero who is trying to do things by the book.
That's true.
By the book,
that's true.
Is what, and yeah, like I love that the film. In addition to the fact that if you were to make that nowadays, you would probably have a film that would kind of allude to this guy's, hey, Gene Hackman's characters Republican. Denzel Washington's
Right.
character's Democrat. Whereas
Right.
like this film like is just pure like philosophies opposed, and that's it. And that's it. And they're not presented in these like kind of black and white terms. So to me, Crimson Tide is just like, in
Dude.
addition to the fact that it's fun blockbuster filmmaking, like
Sure.
elite. I mean, like the pacing is just perfect. So yeah, I'll go to bat for Crimson Tide as one of the best films ever.
I love the cast is awesome, and that movie's crazy because like I think Gene Hackman is so unhinged in that movie, like right from the start. This guy clearly needed to retire like 20 years ago because he's just like outdated.
I'm Team Hackman, not wrong.
Oh, you are a crazy Republican conservative son of a bitch. How dare you? You would be Gene. I'm Team Denzel. This podcast makes perfect sense between the two of us.
Now let's not lose our Republican audience. Okay, for one, any Republican
because we didn't lose them earlier with all this shit talk. Right, David. The point is, I enjoyed the hell out of it. I went on a larger kick after that. I went through all the Jack Ryan movies after that because I get all political and shit. I was on a Denzel Washington kick, and I watched A Siege, him and Tony Shalhoub and Bruce Willis.
Oh yeah, The Siege, which is, man, that it's crazy to think that was made before 9/11.
I was just
insane. 9/11, like
it's insane. For those who have never seen it, go check it out because it was so creepily foreshadowing of the way Americans were going to kind of act and do and some of the stuff. It was just one of those real scary precursors to a very tragic event that happened later. You know what I mean? Just, oh man, highly recommend watching it.
By the way, like people talk about the Acton showcase and showdown of like Al Pacino and De Niro. And it's like, listen, I'm not going to talk shit about Heat. I don't think the coffee that, the diner scene in Heat is like an all-timer, just in terms of strict dialogue. The freaking, the charisma that both have is, yeah, absolutely insane. But I think that's what carries that dialogue. Whereas the showdown between Denzel and Hackman in Crimson Tide is just like an all-timer. Dude, where like in terms of like just like Acton versus Acton.
It's so good. It's so good. It's like Howie Mandel versus a forest fire. Perfectly balanced. Two people
is wrong with you? Jesus Christ!
You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Just two diametrically opposed
done with
things.
This podcast.
Fighting each other. One has to win over the other. It's one Tour de Force, the other one Howie Long. Boom, baby.
God, dude.
Boom, David. So without getting too much into it, because I don't want to say anything that more than you want to say. Like I felt like you were in this crazy Crimson Tide event of yourself with your work, because you were having to deal with someone who was overbearingly difficult all the time. And I won't say names or people, but I can cut all this out. But are you okay from that, man? Did you feel like Denzel Washington versus Gene Hackman style stuff, and you're standing up for yourself and taking the key away so they wouldn't shoot the nukes off, man?
I didn't just take the key away. I was taking those punches. Same punches Gene Hackman lands.
Oh God, yeah, dude. I think that scene might be the perfect contextualization of your experience at the job, dude.
Yes, definitely felt like Denzel's character. And I don't have a problem talking about it, man. Like it's what's called, it's, I think anybody can sort of sympathize with somebody that, and this is actually something I've been telling, other places that I've interviewed for, because they've been asking.
Oh shit.
Yeah, they straight up put me on blast. Like, well, why are you looking to move so soon? You just got this job.
Yeah, it's true. I guess I never thought of it. That does become a big question.
Yeah, and I have no problem answering that. Like so at D Magazine, we have Mark Goddich. He was, a senior editor at Sports Illustrated for 22 years, right? My editor, Mike Palucci. These guys are awesome. These guys are like just top of the food chain, elite editors.
Hell yeah.
And what I've learned from them is that when it comes to objectives, right, and this can apply to anything, when it comes to any objective at work, there's just really two things you need: either direction, and in the absence of that, expectation. In the absence of expectation, direction, right? And sometimes you could not have both. Especially at big companies, things move fast. That's fine. But when you are consistently getting neither, which is what I was getting.
Oh, gross.
And not only do you get neither, but you're also being micromanaged for each task and then criticized in the most unprofessional way. I was like, dude, not a single thing is being checked off here. In addition to the unprofessionalism, I'm like, that makes it really easy for me, actually. I'm out.
So, man, that's you being Denzel in this situation. is amazing, because you handle it with such, to me personally, you still handle it with such poise, and you were able to take a lot of shit, but you also had a breaking point where like, I'm done. I'm taking a stand. I'm not putting up with this. Just like Denzel Washington did in Crimson Tide. So what's next, David? Now that you're surviving the game again, we're back in it. What's your perspective now, man? You're going to look for something similar? You're going to find something different? You're going to spend time working on your book again now that you're back at the home for a while? What's the next step for David in this transition?
So one, I'm definitely focused on like looking for jobs that have good work reputations. That's the cool thing about Glassdoor. Like if you ever apply for jobs on Glassdoor, you can actually see reviews for the companies. Usually from like former, they're anonymous, so they could be like, usually they're former employees. But so yeah, just making sure that this is a place with a good reputation.
I need to do that. I've never heard of this Glassdoor. I need to check that out. I want to see what they say about my work.
So I use like pretty much everything, like Simply Hired, Indeed, Glassdoor, Lensa's pretty good too. I mean, there are a lot of them, man. But yeah, man, it's like that. And then yeah, working on the focus on sending out query letters for the novel that I've finished, and working on a separate novel that I am working on. Again, more science fiction.
You're working on another novel? First of all, I haven't even read the first one, god damn it, and you're already working on a second one. Are you following up the story?
No, so I've already kind of started to outline a sequel for the story that I finished. This is a standalone science fiction. So I kind of want to just...
Through all of our conversations, right, and getting to know you, I am still shocked that science fiction is your fucking platform for books. For as much shit as you give me and nerds around the world, science fiction is your preferred platform. Crazy, dude.
But we talked about this, man. Like, one of the reasons why it's my platform is also because I tend to be critical of science fiction. Like, I tend to just not like, and it's like a love-hate thing, right? Like,
Sure.
like at its best, there's nothing better. But man, there could be like so many, like, I like Spiderhead. I recently watched Spiderhead, which I thought looked like had a really interesting trailer, and then I saw it, man, and I was just like really disappointed that like.
So you find that's a middle of the road movie? Because I was curious in seeing it. So should I see it or should I not see it?
I think you should definitely watch it, because I think it's told in a way that's accessible.
Okay.
But it does a lot of shit that a lot of like modern day films do, man. Like, I get sick of like needle drops. I'm like, I don't care that you know a lot of songs from the 70s and 80s. Like, let me just watch a film that's like interested in its plot and its characters, like, for fucking once. Jesus Christ.
It does have Miles Teller, and I do love Miles Teller, so
I don't know if you're being ironic or not.
I love Miles Teller, man. That dude's dope as hell. Did you not see him in that sexy ass beach scene on Top Gun 2, man? Good.
I
so good.
I saw his anti-vaxxer bullshit, and that was kind of enough. But anyways,
I didn't say I cared for his politics. I said he's hot, bro. Okay, there's a difference. I can like a dude for being jacked and rip. I don't need to go along with his politics. Okay, big difference, bro.
You do have kind of like the Miles mustache as well.
Okay, first of all, I had it first. All right, before Top Gun. All right, I've been rocking this stash since the beginning of the pandemic. I do like my handlebars. David, I hope you have good luck with your new job hunting, man. I hope you learned a lot from your first time, by the way, being at home, right? What are you going to do different to take advantage of the time that you are at the house? I know you already talked about outlining the book and all that other stuff, but is there anything new that you're like, you know what, I didn't do this I didn't do enough naked poops last time. I'm going to do something different this time. Like, what have you learned for your next adventure while waiting for the job?
That's a tough one. I feel like they're like, for one, I've been making Nicole breakfast.
Ooh,
that's like, so when she gets
delicious.
Home, making like what we call the small country breakfast. So like turkey sausage links, scrambled egg, hash. I always offer her like a little mini croissant, but she doesn't take the bait.
You don't use avocado? You seem like an avocado guy.
No, I don't. Listen, I know what you're trying to say. Okay,
shocking.
I know what you're trying to do. Okay, you're trying to make me seem more Latino than I actually am.
Wow, I was going for hipster, but you took it racial, so that's fine too, I guess. All right. Okay, I see where your mind's at, bro.
But you know what I've been doing? I've been going to YouTube, kind of looking for like different ways to make, because I'm a big fan of soft scrambled. And the reason why I'm a big fan of soft scrambled is that it has a lot, like, there are more things you can do with it. One of them is Cantonese style scrambled eggs. Look that up. They look amazing, but it also looks like really hard to do.
Okay.
And that's kind of one of the rabbit holes I sometimes like fall under, like with YouTube or just like food videos, like of all kind of different kinds. I'm sure you're familiar with that Binging with Babish.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he has. I usually don't watch those, but like,
I like
for whatever reason, I saw one because I was looking for that steak and egg scene from Twister. For some reason,
yes,
that was in my head.
I knew you were going to say that.
We've talked about,
the best looking food on a movie ever.
So he has an episode where he makes.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
And I thought that was like, oh, dude, this is fucking amazing. So I was kind of like, so one of the things I've been kind of working on is like, okay, let me my own steak and egg game. Yes,
your Twister breakfast.
I'm gonna make.
David, I'm gonna say this now. I'm gonna say this now. Can we consider for my birthday? Can I come over and we have Twister breakfast? You, me, and Rick have Twister breakfast.
I think it's a great idea. But Rick's gonna want like asada and like, you know
what? It's my fucking birthday, okay? He's gonna eat the Twister breakfast, all right? I want to be Bill Paxton. You can be my Helen Hunt, okay? And then we'll make Rick
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
And then Rick will be Philip Seymour Hoffman. There we go. Perfect. And we'll have my perfect birthday Twister country breakfast, which I hope everyone will join me for on that day.
I feel like, hold on. Okay, so don't forget this. We're again, Twister country breakfast. This is really important. Don't forget that's what we were talking about.
Okay.
I think, by the way, I think Rick is such a weirdo. He would have a problem being the Philip Seymour Hoffman character. I think it's great to be compared to Helen Hunt. I think, in the 90s, like Helen Hunt was, she wasn't like, classically attractive, but I always thought she was attractive.
Rick can deal with it. I know he wants to be Carrie Elways in it, but he's not allowed to be, and I don't give a shit, all right? It's my birthday, and he's Philip Seymour Hoffman, goddammit, and he can deal with it. He can suck it, all right? It's my birthday. Twister breakfast. That's what's happening, Dave.
If we were going for like, facsimiles, like personality wise, I would definitely like fall more into the Alan Ruck category.
I know you would.
I'm not saying by choice, man. I'm like,
sure.
I'm not even like an Alan Ruck fan. I'm just saying like, I'm probably closer to that than.
I'm probably more of a like Sean Whalen more than anything else in this entire party.
Is the guy with the curly hair?
He was the guy from from People Under the Stairs.
Aaron Burr.
I remember. Yeah, exactly. That kid.
Okay. I forgot he was in that.
Yeah. That's just kind of one of his more notable, because the dude's done a ton of stuff. That's one of his more like notable. By the way, that dude's on TikTok and he's really good. Like he tells you inside stories to stuff that he's done, auditions he goes on, people that he's met. He goes to an actual like mini Twister convention that they have in the city where they filmed it every year. It's fucking adorable, man. God bless that guy. He's super nice.
What I was going to ask, because we're talking about breakfast, what is your ultimate last film supper? Like if you could choose a supper from a film and it was your last, what would it be?
Oh, yeah, I know what it is. Cause I used to, oh my God. I mean, the Twister's like right up there, but if I had to pull a deep cut from my childhood that I was like, man, this is what I would really want to eat. I want to eat that entire fucking table full of food from the movie Hook with Robin Williams. Do you remember that? So it's the one where he's imagining and then the food comes to life and it's like big giant turkey legs and hams and cream pies and all kinds of fillings filled with stuff. If you've never seen it, I highly recommend look it up. But if you know, ladies and gentlemen, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about.
I don't remember that, so I'm going to have to look that up.
Okay, look it up.
So we have a few other ones, man. The steak from Matrix that looks like a
that is so unfair how good that fucking steak looks, dude. Even I was like, yo, just put me back in the Matrix and just let me eat the steak. Let me be the steak in the Matrix and I'll be happy.
The only thing I could think of, so to me, like the steak and eggs from Twister still like tops. Okay. The only thing I think that competes with it, even more than anything from Chef, the Jon Favreau movie, which has like a lot of really good food scenes, but even more than that is the Il Timpano scene from Big Night, Tony Shalhoub and Stanley Tucci. So that's a real dish apparently, which I thought was just like nonsense. They make what's called this il tempano, which is like basically a dish. It's like a huge, like basically like pasta drum, but
Ooh.
inside is pretty much anything and everything that you've ever like had, like sausage, meatballs, cheese, more pasta. It's insane, and it looks great too.
I'm also gonna give a shout out to the food in Spirited Away. Anytime there's food in Spirited Away, it looks ridiculously delicious, insanely delicious. But I think these are some solid choices, dude. The Hook one, but Twister is the most real one. Twister's really up there. That Twister breakfast is really up there. People, if you don't know what we're talking about, please Google this stuff. You got Hook dinner scene, you got the Twister country breakfast, and what is it for their serving from Big Night again?
Il tempano.
Il Tempano. Check it out.
We have to mention though that like the thing that puts the Twister scene like above everything else, in my opinion, is also like it's got some innovation going. Like the brown gravy involved with the steak and eggs is something I never would have thought, but it looks so fucking amazing, dude.
It's so good.
I absolutely lose my shit just thinking about it.
And hopefully, ladies and gentlemen, you will lose your shit when you see what we are talking about. David, I know I hate to say it, but we've talked to the cows come home, man. We've reached the end of the show already, David. Just from catching up, my dude. And there's still more to catch up on, right? I'll just do quick fire round. Like I said, let's see, in the last couple months, I have watched a ton of new 80s TV shows, including Street Hawk and The Equalizer, which I'm super amped about. My lady friend came in to visit me for a whole week, and that was really fun during the vacation time. We got to hang out and do a bunch of cool stuff and catch up on Stranger Things. I saw Nick Kroll at the Pearl, just hanging out. That was pretty dope. Took her on a date at the Pearl. Very, very nice. I felt like you. I felt like I was being highfalutin and cool and stuff, taking her to the Pearl and walking around, man. I was trying to channel you to impress my lady, so I hope that makes you feel good. Also went to Jazz, Texas for the first time, so that was cool. They did a Jazz Disney show, which was very unexpected and very fucking awesome. So check it out. If you live in San Antonio, check out Jazz, Texas. It's really awesome. So all kinds of good stuff, man. Getting the house cleaned up, getting things moved out, making new working arrangements, trying to get amped up once again to start my personal projects, get back on making my RPG show. So that's my quick rapid fire round of me in the last month, David. What do you got?
What did I do? So we went to that same weekend that you were out, apparently. We went to Domingo, which is kind of, usually we stay away from like downtown San Antonio, but Domingo had freaking churro waffles.
Holy shit.
They didn't quite taste like waffles. I think they tasted more to me like closer to like French toast and like terms of like texture and consistency, but it was fucking amazing, dude.
God damn, dude.
Whatever like the whipped cream that they had on there was also insane. So Domingo, kind of like a Cuban, Puerto Rican kind of fusion spot, really solid. And then of course we watched an episode of Murder, She Wrote, which is something that Nicole and I
classic.
Like to do. By the way, Jonathan Brandis was in the episode that we watched.
Ooh, always a good when Jonathan Brandis shows up in something. God bless him.
And then I've been watching the Stanley Cup Finals, which are great because those the two best teams are the complete opposite philosophically in terms of how they play the game than what Dallas does, which hopefully means that the people that run the Stars are going to do what the successful teams are doing instead of what they try to do. You know, this is like the Gene Hackman Denzel like debate all over again.
Man, that movie is an allegory for everything in this world, David. God damn.
Oh, how could I forget? By the way, this is something I'm going to get you.
Okay, what's up?
This is chupacabra flavored popcorn from Popcorn Piccadilly. Now, this place makes great popcorn, but of course, this is not the best flavor.
Yeah, chupacabra. I don't know what flavor that is, but I guess we'll find out, right?
I still don't know what flavor it is, and I've eaten like halfway through the bag. And I'm not like a popcorn person, but the brick oven pizza flavor is amazing. Spicy queso is amazing. I bought my dad for Father's Day. I sent him 5 bags from this place, which is actually right near the Forum. So if you want to you want me to take you to there or whatever, try some, we can always do that. But I got my dad some root beer float flavored popcorn.
That sounds delicious.
There was probably some other shit I'm forgetting, but I want to say I got in a fight with somebody, but that's That sounds too cool.
We're going to really follow up on that one on the next episode, 100%. So you have like 10 minutes to think about it before we record the next one. But, David, my favorite takeaway from that is you've eaten chupacabra popcorn and you found Jonathan Brandis on an episode of Murder, She Wrote. And that's why I love you, man, because that's why you're great. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. We hope you had a really good time. As I always like to say, quick reflection before we leave. David, thanks for recording this with me on Father's Day. I really appreciate that. As my pseudo friend / father figure in my life, you constantly bring me up and bring me down, but most of the time you bring me up, and I really appreciate that on these kinds of days. So thank you for that. So, David, to you, I say Happy Father's Day, my friend. And to everyone out there who are my friends who are dope-ass dads, Happy Father's Day to you. And David, Happy Father's Day to your dad, who's an awesome guy, because I met him, and he's really fucking cool, dude.
Thank you. And he was a big fan. He really enjoyed talking as well. And, like, I'll never forget the thing that he said to me, which is before he ever met you, when we showed up at the pre-wedding brunch.
Right.
Saw you on your way over there, didn't know who you were, and just flat out told my mom, looks like one of David's friends. And I don't know, maybe that's not like the most positive thing. I don't know like what that, maybe it's like kind of like a slight criticism of me, but I think that tells you everything, because one thing I trust is my dad's gut. Listen, man, you don't just have a father figure in me, you got a father figure in my dad, and my dad will always be there for you as well. So
I'll take it, brother. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. And on that wonderful, beautiful note, we're going to end this one on a positive one. Another episode of I Will Break You, Part 2, Fire Down Below, because that's what it was from earlier. If you like what you hear, ladies and gentlemen, please don't forget to like, share, give us 5 stars, and give us a review. If you give us 5 stars and write a nice review, we'll probably read it on air. If you give us 5 stars and a bad review, we'll probably also read that on air, because sometimes it's just funny to get roasted. If you'd like to suggest topics of conversation, or you have questions for us, or if you'd like to have some comical advice from one of us, life advice, you can reach us at recthepod@gmail.com. That's recthepod@gmail.com. And we're also on Twitter as well, and Instagram at recthepod, ladies and gentlemen. You can also find us on Facebook, and hopefully still coming soon, more content as we figure out our lives one day to TikTok and everything else. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we leave on this episode, David?
Fire down below. Great euphemism for taking the shit.
Goddamn, that's absolutely perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, I am son of Orti, Brian Ortiz.
I'm David Castle.
And on that, I don't even want to end on another note, because that was the best closer right there, bro. You just fucking nailed it. Guys, we'll see you on the next episode. Happy Father's Day. Peace out, everyone. Bye.
Adios.
Life's a Wreck is an FC podcast production created by Brian Ortiz and David Castillo, recorded in our homes and edited by me, Brian Ortiz. Theme song and outro by Hard Power USA. Check them out on SoundCloud. And please let us know what you think about the show by rating us and leaving a comment. You can also email us topics of discussion for future episodes at recthepod@gmail.com. That's recthepod@gmail.com. Hey, thanks for listening to our little slice of the podcast world, and we'll see you at the next episode.